Afternoon. All right, real quick on the injuries. Here's some things that showed up. So Leno and Brownlee, they'll be out this week. All right, Leno has a hamstring. Brownlee has a hip. All right, so they'll be out. Tony and Harrison, they won't practice today, right? But they'll be good as the week progresses. All right, obviously Harrison's getting a rest day, and TA had a groin, right, but he'll be just fine. Quantez is going through concussion protocol, right, but I think he'll be just fine when it comes to that. And then Jermaine and Will, they'll be limited, but they'll be practicing, right? So those are all the injuries. When it comes to this game, this is a surging team, and there's a couple of reasons why they have been playing fairly well. One is offensively, they've been running the ball really, really well. And obviously the skill player has been doing a hell of a job for them. On defense, you see those guys starting to take the ball away quite a bit. So that's the reason why these guys are starting to play well. But when it comes to us, I mean, nothing changed on what we're trying to do. We're trying to improve each week. Again, I like the result that we had in the game. There was a number of things that we have to get better at. And that's been our focus. It's going to continue to be our focus. And we're not going to pull away from that. There are some things that I did like as far as things that we talk about in our meeting rooms when it comes to a team meeting is, man, the grit that we played with showed up, and the mental toughness that we've been preaching about showed up quite a bit too. So we have to continue on that path, but also improve on some other things from all three phases that we continue to talk about. So any questions?
With Miami, they lost Tyreek, they traded with Phillips, they made a change of general manager, and it seems like they kind of rallied.
Yeah.
You guys, similarly, with the trades of Quinnen, trading, and it seems like Sauce, and then you guys have kind of gone on a little bit of a run yourself. Is there anything to a team being counted out and kind of look past, like, oh, they're done for the year, and then finding their rhythm?
You know what? I can't tell you from their perspective, but I do know from our perspective that there are things that we're trying to do, and sometimes when you make moves like that, you know, people from the outside really don't understand why you make those moves and what you're actually trying to build within your team. And I think our team did a really good job of understanding those things. Listen, players come and go, coaches come and go. But there's one thing that you want to make sure as a team that you do is you keep moving forward. You keep on improving on the things you're trying to improve on. And I think our players did a really good job buying into that. And there's no quitting these guys, and they know exactly what we're trying to accomplish. And listen, our record's not where it wants to be, you know, but the things that we're trying to do, I know for a fact that we're getting better in those things.
Can you speak about the importance of division games? You saw each of these teams before, but now you're going to see them over the course of the last 5 games.
Well, that's the good thing about a division games. You're really familiar with who they are, their roster, offensively and defense, the schemes that they try to run. And, man, there's some things you can go back from the first game. There's some things you can look to in their other games. Okay, these are plays that we know that they have in their arsenal that they're going to have to run. And you try to make sure we're going to defend those plays. And we're going to try to make this team play left-handed as much as possible. And to me, that's the one thing about playing, you know, division games of, man, listen, there's some things that we know that we're going to get. Man, can we end up stopping those things and making them try to do something else? And something that they don't want to do or something that they're not accustomed to doing. And we try to do that for the most part. So, and I think every team thinks that way. But that's how we go about it.
You guys have been doing a good job against the run, and then Sunday, you know, Bijan does what he does.
Yep.
Have you chalked it up to tip your cap that guy's one of the best in the NFL, or do you have concerns that you took a step back in that department?
Well, I hate that it happened. I'm not overly concerned because you just said it. We've been pretty good at defending the run. So, I mean, if one team comes out and, you know, they have a good day, you know, I'm not going to look at that as, we suck now. You know, it's one of those things. And Bijan's a great player, but that doesn't take away what we try to do each week as far as stopping the run first and forcing teams to be one-dimensional. So we got to get better in that aspect. Listen, I know Bijan's a good player, but still it's unacceptable for us to give up 140-some yards to one player. So again, we looked at that. We looked at some of the issues with that, of the number of missed tackles, and a lot of those missed tackles with us diving to the ground instead of running through the man. So we have to do a better job at that, and we will.
Hey, G, with the whole interception thing, is that, do you look at that as kind of an anomaly, or do you have a number in mind of how many picks you probably should have? Do you guys keep numbers on that, you and Dre?
You know, that's anytime the ball's in the air, everything should be a pick.
Yeah.
So, like, we don't have a true number in mind. I don't know what team look at. Oh, we want to have 20 picks. The thing is, anytime the ball's in the air, we want to have it. But it's disappointing, that we don't have interceptions, because that's me coming from what I've always played. You expect those things to happen. But, man, we really have to work on that. We have to be able to see the ball. When zone coverage, you got to see the ball. You got to be able to break on the ball. When you're in man coverage, you got to be able to play with your back to the quarterback and be able to react to the ball when it's in your vicinity of where you're at playing the man. So it's really puzzling. It really is. But, listen, we're not going to hang our heads. We're going to continue to fight to try to see if we can get them.
Well, you guys, just as a quick follow, just a quick follow. Do you guys keep those numbers anywhere, Chris and Jermaine? What,
as far as
in terms of, like, maybe how many guys have had hands on the ball, so to speak? And those
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we show those each week. Anytime we get our hands on the ball, we feel like we should make those plays, and we show those to the players all the time.
How do you think the defense has played statistically the last month or so? Because it seems like you're playing a lot better.
We are playing better, but we're still not where we need to be at. I'm a huge fan of trying to be top 10 in every defensive category, but I know that, sometimes it's not just totally realistic, but we shoot for that, So I like the way that we're trending, but we're still not where we need to be.
Aaron, you used the term trying to build. What are you trying to build here as you go down the stretch for these final five? Is it about execution? Is it about effort? Is it about something else?
Well, effort has never been a problem for us. Obviously, execution, we want to get better at that. But there are some things that we talk about amongst ourselves that I won't say that we're trying to get better at. And our guys are really improving in that area. So I'm happy about that. Again, I'm not happy about the record at all, but I am happy about the way that we're trending in certain areas.
Over the last few weeks, have you guys defensively evolved into more of a zone team, less pressuring than early in the year? Because that's what the statistics say. I know they're not 100% accurate all the time, but just from a coaching perspective, has there been a little evolving there?
No, it's game planning, and each week, you want to make sure you plan to how you can attack a certain team. And listen, there's some weeks that we might blitz more than sitting back, blitz and play man. Then we just sit back playing zone, and it just so happened each week. The plan is for that, So, and that's going to change. It's going to change. So I don't know if I'll look too much into that. The only thing I do know is we're improving as a defense.
Has Miami's offensive identity changed without Tyreek, and what have you seen from Achane as far as this year? It seems like he's really had a career breakthrough.
You know what? That's really has what stood out to me when I watched those guys. I don't think it's changed as far as what they're trying to do conceptually, but making sure that Achane get his hands on the ball a ton, especially in the running game, like that's what has a tick up. And again, I think that's the reason why they've been surging as a team, is he's getting his hands on the ball quite a bit as a runner and making those plays. Because once he get on the perimeter, man, he can circle the defense. He's and you saw that last week, man. He's making a ton of plays. So we got to make sure that we don't allow him to circle the defense.
Last one, Connor. Aaron, when we talked to you earlier in the season,
Yep.
you guys, the losses were piling up. I'm trying to ask this the right way. There were a lot of times when we would speak with the conference call or the podium, it felt like even though you guys lost or it was really ugly, you were just hyper fixated on the good, and it felt like talking about losses like they were wins in ways. The last couple of weeks, as you guys have been winning, it feels like that has changed, where you're happy with the wins, but it's also the fixation. We're not where we want to be. We're trying to grow. We're just not where we want to be yet.
Yeah.
It's so good we're not there yet. Is that intentional? Is that a carryover of the way you're talking to your team? I mean, where does that come? Because it does feel like there's been a change.
I'm trying to really grasp the question, and I'm assuming you said early in the year when we had the losses. I was trying to look at the positives.
Yeah.
You said,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
yes. I think that's as a coach. Like, you don't want to sit in front of a team and, okay, we lost. You start to pick out all things. Man, there's always good in every game. And you want to make sure you look at those things. And, man, how do we build on those things? And the reasons that we lost, how do we improve on those things? So I always want to make sure I talk about that. And when we win, I want to make sure I don't sit in here and think everything is rosy either, because there's some bad stuff that come out of wins also. So I want to make sure that we don't overlook those things, because sometimes you can overlook those issues that you have when you win because you're happy that you win. And I think the good teams that I've been on, listen, we're happy with the win, but there are some things we got to fix, and we don't want to overlook those things from a player's perspective.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. That answered it?